Now before you set up your bandsaw, you want to make sure that you lay out your tools. You're going to need some common hand tools. You'll need a set of Allen wrenches, a couple of open or closed in wrenches or sockets, standard Phillips head screwdriver, a square, a razor knife, and of course some safety glasses. And don't forget the most important tool of them all, your owner's manual. We'll be referring to this as we set up our saw today. Now we're going to assemble the stand for the bandsaw. On page 18 of the manual you'll find the instructions for doing the installation and assembly of the stand. Now we've laid out all the parts here, we've removed all the parts that are not part of the stand assembly, and I find that it's easiest to do this up on the workbench. What you're going to see is you're going to have two of the end plates, you're going to have two of the front and back panels here, you're going to have all the hardware laid out, and then the feet. Now the feet, there are 4 different feet for the bandsaw. If you're going to use the bandsaw as a standalone machine, you'll use all 4. If you're going to use and install the optional mobility kit, you're only going to use 2 of these feet. I like to preload all the washers before putting them onto the stand. I recommend leaving all the fasteners finger tight until you have the stand completely assembled and are ready to tighten everything down. Four more bolts. These go right into the threaded inserts in the end plates. And the last 2 bolts. Now that we've got the stand loosely assembled and finger tight, we're going to go ahead and tighten everything down with a number 12 wrench. You want to leave them loose, make any adjustments that you need to right now to make sure that everything is smooth and level, and then we'll go through and tighten all the fasteners down. Now we've got the base assembly all bolted together. Everything's assembled, it's leveled, and it's tightened. We need to decide if we're going to use the factory mobility kit or not. It is an option for this saw. If you are using the mobility kit, you'll be bolting the swivel wheel to the end plate here where these holes are pre-drilled. That'll end up being the right-hand side as we have it installed in this demo. If you are installing the factory optional mobility kit, you will only use 2 of the feet for the bandsaw. If you're going to have the bandsaw set up as a stationary machine with no mobility kit, you will use all 4 of the feet. Let's go ahead and flip the base over and put the feet on. We're going to put 2 of these on right now because we're going to install the mobility kit. Slide it back, tip it backwards. Now using the number 6 Allen wrench that's supplied in your tool kit, go ahead and grab the feet. We're going to use 2 of these right now, 2 of the bolts, and 2 of the washers. Let's go ahead and install them. Page 18 on the manual shows you the order to install these. First you'll install your bolt through the foot, then your washer, and simply thread it into the bottom of the bandsaw base. As a reminder again, if the bandsaw is going to be a permanent installation with no mobility kit, then you will install 2 more of these feet assembly. If you're going to put on the optional mobility kit, on the end that's going to receive the outer wheels, you will not install these feet. Simply disregard these pieces. You can put these over in your hardware bin and they can find another purpose. Now if you've selected the factory mobility kit for your machine, you'll see that the mobility kit consists of 2 primary components. There's the rear axle and wheel assembly, and that's comprised of the axle assembly along with the lock. You'll have the wheels, and you'll have the fasteners and hardware for this. And then you've got the nose wheel, the swiveling nose wheel assembly, the bracket, and the hardware for the nose wheel. Let's concentrate first off on the back wheel and axle assembly. Now the factory mobility kit is very nicely done for the 1412 bandsaw. You'll see that the rear axle assembly comes pretty well completely assembled. You'll have your axle, and it floats on these nice pressed-in bronze bushings on either side here. You've got the frame, and then you've got this plate right here, and this is a locking plate that has a lock handle, and this allows you to simply screw this down to contact the floor to keep your bandsaw from moving. You want to position the lock plate right here so that the holes line up with the back piece here, and we're going to install the wheels right now, and then we'll bolt this into place. Let's go ahead and put the wheels on. And we'll flip it around and do the other side. First on goes the wheel. Then you'll put your washer on next to the wheel. And lastly, we'll go ahead and put the pin in. I like to put both pins in the same direction so that they're always pointed down. Now we're going to install the rear axle assembly onto the end of the stand that does not have the feet on it. You're going to need a number 5 Allen wrench, and you'll have the 2 fasteners. I preload the washers. I'll slide it through both holes and then start it into the frame. You want to go ahead and leave these finger tight so you can get both of them into the stand. Now that I've got both fasteners just finger tight, I'll go ahead and level this up, snug this one side down, and then move to the other side, level it up, and get it just loosely tight. Right now you'll make any final adjustments that you need to on this bracket and slide it even with the bottom of the saw, and then finally tighten it down. Now you want to make sure you just maintain sort of an even line across from the base to the bracket for the mobility kit, and then take your screw and go ahead and run it all the way up right now so that it's snugged up and away from the wheels, so that when we flip the bandsaw over we can move everything around easily. Now that we've got the back wheels and axle assembly installed, let's go ahead and do the swiveling nose wheel. I'll spin this around. We want to grab our bracket, one of the screws, and our Allen wrench. This bracket assembly is pre-threaded to accept the holes for the swiveling mobility kit. It's also pre-threaded so we can bolt this onto the saw prior to the installation of the swiveling nose gear. And we'll take the bracket assembly, slide it right on in, and put the fastener right through the top. You'll snug this finger tight and adjust the holes, and you're going to adjust it to where the threaded inserts are centered in the holes, and then snug down the top here. And again, on page 19 and 20 in the manual, it refers to the nose gear. We've removed the castering wheel and the spring assembly so we can make installation of this bracket and foot pedal assembly a little bit easier. So we'll take the bracket, we're going to bolt it onto these holes, and you'll see that they're slotted so that we can make any type of positioning adjustments that we need to for the bandsaw. Pre-insert one screw into the hole, line it up on the bandsaw, and only tighten these finger tight until you get everything installed and adjusted. I find that the use of these long arm Allen wrenches makes this process a little bit easier. Now with the first 2 installed, simply slide this up so we can get the second 2. Now that we've got the front portion of the mobility kit installed, we've left these finger tight so we can adjust that. The top one is completely tightened with the Allen wrench. Let's install our spring and then the castering wheel. And finish tightening this down with a number 19 wrench. Okay, that's tight. At this point, to make it easy, I'm going to slide this bracket all the way up and then snug it down Once this is upside down, it'll make it easier to adjust later.